Naturally, much of the focus on the recovery from the pandemic has been on the next generation EU strategy and the national plans that fall under that. And indeed there's going to be a huge injection of funds over coming years from those plans into member states and therefore also into regions. We have to bear in mind, I think, that a large part of the implementation of those strategies and those plans is going to happen at the local level, because the funding will need to be channeled into projects that take forward, that address structural problems within the economy and that take forward the key transitions, the green transition, the digital transition, the social transition. And those funds will need to be used by firms, by research organisations, etc., who are based in Europe's regions. So it's very important that regions are engaged through that implementation, but also we shouldn't separate implementation out from strategy. And I think it's also very important that regions are engaged in strategic thinking around how they're going to take forward the transitions within their regions. That's something that's happened already over the last programming period through the smart specialisation strategies that regions across Europe have developed. I think a key challenge now going forward will be to integrate more strongly the sustainability element within those smart specialisation strategies, so they become a key tool for taking forward the green and digital transitions through the recovery programme and channeling some of those funds to those transitions in the regions. Well, one of the positive things from crises such as that we're currently living is that they bring opportunities. And one of the biggest opportunities associated with this pandemic, I think, has been the acceleration of some of the long-term transitions that were already very much at the forefront of our minds before the pandemic. Namely the green transition that's necessary to tackle the climate emergency, the digital transition that's changing the technologies and business models that underlie much of our industry, and the socio-demographic transition that's necessary to deal with issues more effectively relating to immigration or to ageing or to the sustainability of welfare systems. Now in this year's Basque Country Competitors Report we end with a series of recommendations for the Basque Country based around those opportunities, which I think are also very relevant for other regions and can be adapted quite easily to other regions. First of all, we argue that we need to embrace digitalisation as a kind of transversal lever for resilience in the medium and long term. Secondly, we need to embrace the green transition as an opportunity, an industrial opportunity, as something that can be seen as a competitive advantage into the future. And thirdly, we also need to embrace what's often known as the foundational economy, those parts of the economy that are associated with well-being of people, such as the food system or the health system or the care system. And we need to embrace those as an economic opportunity. How do we leverage those for economic development? So those three pillars, I think, can be tackled in various ways. On the one hand, we also argue there's a need for a prolonged focus and a renewed focus on skills, which links back into last year's competitiveness report. In particular, we argue that it's important to improve the agility of the skills ecosystem so that it's able to adapt to the needs of those transitions. Secondly, we argue for a key role for public administrations, playing a key catalyst role within those transitions, leveraging their investments and their policies to really drive forward the transitions, and to do so in collaboration with the private sector. So strong public-private collaboration through intermediaries such as cluster organisations or local economic development agencies that can really take smart specialisation strategies to a new level. And finally, we argue that multi-level governance or co-governance is going to be really critical for this, because the region is just one level. We're also dealing at the member state level, and we're also dealing at the city level and the local level. And it's very important that the different actors at those levels connect with one another and develop strategies that are consistent and that are well aligned.